I've lived on Maplewood Lane for 8 years, a quiet suburban street where neighbors wave politely but keep score of whose lawn looks best. My name's David Harper, a 52-year-old software engineer with a knack for fixing things. My modest two-story home sits right where everyone passes by my mailbox, a mailbox that became the center of a neighborhood war thanks to Linda Mitchell, the self-proclaimed queen of our HOA. What started as a petty dispute turned into a battle of wits, engineering, and community strength, exposing secrets that shook our little world. Linda, a 40-something realtor with a gleaming white Cadillac Escalade, ruled Maplewood Lane like it was her personal kingdom. She had a smile that didn't reach her eyes and a way of making suggestions that felt like orders. But her real problem was the casino 30 miles away, where she burned through her commissions every Wednesday and Saturday night. When she lost big, she'd come tearing home, her SUV a battering ram for anything in her path. My mailbox, sitting innocently at the curb, became her favorite target. The first time she smashed it, I chalked it up to a late-night accident. I replaced the standard aluminum box with a sturdy wooden one from low-s $85 out of pocket. The next morning, it was splinters, my utility bill lost in the wreckage. When it happened again, I marched to Linda's over-the-top house, all faux pillars and manicured hedges. She answered in a satin robe, looking like she'd just rolled out of a casino bender. "Your Escalade has scratches on the bumper," I said, pointing to the evidence. Her eyes narrowed. "That look some folks save for people who don't fit their idea of the neighborhood." "Are you accusing me?" "Maybe get a stronger mailbox," she sneered, slamming the door. By the third mailbox, a $120 metal one reduced to scrap, I knew this wasn't random. Linda wasn't just reckless. She was targeting me, a black man who dared to own a home in her perfect neighborhood. Worse, her brother, Detective Stephen Mitchell, was a local cop with 20 years on the force and a reputation for making problems disappear. When I reported the vandalism, guess who showed up? Stephen, all badge and bluster, claiming I was harassing his sister. "No evidence," he said, ignoring the mangled mailbox. "Keep pushing, and I'll look into you for stalking." The message was clear: back off or else. But I'm not just a coder. I've got a mechanical engineering degree, a garage full of tools, and a stubborn streak. If Linda wanted to play dirty, I'd build something she couldn't break. That night, I started planning. I dug into postal regulations. Mailboxes are federal property, and destroying them is a felony. I studied HOA bylaws and found Linda wasn't even president, just a loud board member. Most importantly, I learned you can make a mailbox as tough as you want, as long as it meets size and placement rules. For weeks, I became a man on a mission. While Linda kept her casino routine, smashing not just my mailbox, but neighbors' garden decor and fences, I built my masterpiece. The plan, a mailbox that looked ordinary but was a fortress. I sank a steel I-beam 4 feet into the ground, surrounded it with concrete, and topped it with a custom quarter-inch steel box painted to look like a $20 hardware store model. A wooden sleeve hid the I-beam, keeping it discreet. For insurance, I hid a night vision camera in a fake birdhouse, streaming to the cloud. Linda's next hit would be her last. I also dug into the Mitchells. Stephen had a history of internal affairs complaints, none sticking, but enough to show he bent rules. Linda had left her last neighborhood under a cloud of similar vandalism complaints, all hushed up by her brother. Armed with this, I waited. 3 days after finishing my mailbox, my neighbor Sarah Chun, a night shift nurse, texted me. "Linda's back from the casino, looking furious. She's been idling in her driveway for 15 minutes. Showtime." At 1 a.m., I sat in my living room, coffee in hand, watching from behind the curtains. Linda's Escalade roared to life, and she went on a rampage, clipping fences and toppling lawn ornaments. Neighbors' lights flicked on. Sarah was filming from her porch. When Linda hit my block, she gunned it, aiming for my mailbox like a missile. I stepped onto my porch, letting her see me. Her face, lit by headlights, was pure rage. The crash was apocalyptic. Metal screamed, glass shattered, and her Escalade's front end crumpled like foil. Airbags popped, steam hissed, and the neighborhood shook. My mailbox. Not a scratch. Linda sat dazed, airbag dust coating her sequin dress. I strolled over, calm as could be. "Rough night, Linda?" I asked. She stumbled out, screaming, "What did you do to that mailbox?" "Built it to code," I said, showing her a photo of the legal specs. She kicked the mailbox, wincing with every useless blow, then lost it completely. "This is a hate crime. You targeted me," she shrieked, as neighbors recorded. Then she crossed a line. "This was a good neighborhood before people like you moved in," she spat, her voice dripping venom. The street went silent. Even Stephen, arriving in his Dodge Charger, froze. My neighbor Maria Gonzalez snapped. "You're the one terrorizing us, Linda." Linda whirled on her. "You people need to know your place. You people." To a Latina woman, in front of a black man, with half the street watching. Phones were out, cameras rolling. Henry Walsh, our 70-year-old HOA president, stepped forward. "Detective Mitchell," he said, holding a tablet, "we've got footage of your sister's vandalism, multiple incidents. Same red Escalade." Linda's face drained of color. Henry revealed a neighborhood watch system, installed after her spree began. The evidence was airtight. Stephen tried to shut it down, but it was too late. Linda's rant went viral by morning, dubbed HOA Karen's racist meltdown. She was fired from her realtor job, banned from the casino, and facing federal charges for mailbox destruction. Stephen was suspended, his career unraveling. 6 months later, the Mitchells' world collapsed. Linda got 18 months in federal prison for postal crimes and reckless driving, losing her home and family. Stephen got 3 years for corruption, his badge and pension gone. Our neighborhood? Stronger than ever. Henry's HOA reforms brought transparency and unity. My mailbox became a local legend, featured in safety newsletters. Property values climbed, and we started monthly barbecues, turning strangers into friends. But the story wasn't over. One Saturday, as I sipped coffee on my porch, a reporter called. "Linda escaped prison," she said. "She's heading your way." My heart sank. Stephen had vanished from his McDonald's job, and police scanners buzzed with alerts. The Mitchells, with nothing left to lose, were coming for revenge. FBI agents swarmed Maplewood Lane, helicopters overhead. Henry, it turned out, was a retired FBI agent, tracking the Mitchells since their convictions. He revealed their escape was backed by a hate group, the Neighborhood Purity Alliance, targeting outsiders like me. Then we heard a monstrous black truck roaring toward us. Linda was behind the wheel, her hair wild, the truck's front end armored for destruction. "David Harper," she screamed. "Let's see your mailbox survive this." What she didn't know, my mailbox was upgraded. Engineers nationwide had sent ideas, and I'd added a kinetic energy redistribution system. When her truck hit at 40 miles per hour, the impact flipped it end over end, landing upside down. The mailbox stood pristine. As agents cuffed a ranting Linda, Stephen roared in with a stolen police cruiser, yelling about citizens' arrest. Spike strips sent him spinning into a hydrant, water gushing. Both Mitchells were arrested, their hate group dismantled in FBI raids. My mailbox. The Department of Defense wanted its specs for military barriers. Henry grinned. "Their plan to scare us united us instead," he said. Maplewood Lane became a national symbol of resilience, my mailbox a monument to justice. Today, a plaque by my mailbox reads, "For community strength and great engineering, 2025. Tourists snap photos, but the real victory is our neighborhood safe, united, and thriving." Linda and Stephen learned the hard way. Hatred destroys itself when it meets an unbreakable spirit. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially on how communities can fight violence and injustice. Do you think David's approach was justified, or should he have handled it differently? Let's hear your perspective.